is Maureen Quenda, your podcast host, and you are listening to the Empowerment News podcast. For those who are tuning in for the first time, it's a podcast to empower you with nuggets on learning and development, training, leadership coaching, entrepreneurship, and personal growth. I am a learning leader, researcher, speaker, coach, consultant, and author of the book, Dream Big and Live Your Dreams Boldly. I am also the CEO and founder of EMK Learning Solutions, LLC. I've had the honor to coach instructional designers, trainers to become better leaders. So I'll be glad to help you too. Just let me know. This is another exciting week to be back on the show. And before I get started with our exciting guest today, I'd like to say thank you so much for tuning in every week. It's such a great honor and pleasure that you're doing this. And this is really helping our community to grow. Thank you for spreading the word. Thank you, God. Thank you for our kind words, and God bless you. So thank you. Now, I know this is the Women's History Month and we're wrapping it up. So I would like to still say happy Women's History Month. Shout out to all the women. I don't have anything against the men, but this is just a spotlight for women this month. So today we're focusing on cultivating resilience. And so to get started, I know you can't wait to learn about our special guest, Detola. So thank you so much, Detola. Welcome to the show. And I want to say thank you for accepting our invitation to be a guest on the show. It's really special. And so we'd like to know much about you. What do you do in a nutshell? I'm sure our guests would like to know so much more. So take it away.
Right. Thank you so much, Maureen. Thank you for first of all, the privilege for having me on your podcast. It's such a honor. And I think what you're doing is really great. So well done.
Thank you.
So like you said, my name is Detola Amure, and I love to describe myself as an activator.
All right.
I activate people. So what that basically means is that I activate people into living and leading a life of significance. Wow. I run an organization called Superworking Mom, which is a global organization dedicated to helping overwhelmed Christian mothers and women maximize their time so that they can manifest their big dreams. I operate as a productivity and women leadership transformational coach. I am a certified, just like you, certified Maxwell leadership coach, speaker and trainer, certified Maxwell DISC behavioral trainer. I've written 4 books. My recent one is called Living Amazed, and it's basically how to journal and how to use that to, live an amazed life, really. I'm also an international speaker. Yeah, thank you. I'm an international speaker and co-host of the When Life Stops podcast. After a few years ago, after my 7-month-old baby died, I went on a recovery journey and went ahead to qualify as a grief and loss specialist, where I now teach people how to heal their hearts and move beyond death, divorce, and any other major emotional loss. And I also founded the My Little Warrior Child Foundation off the back of that to support bereaved parents as part of my way to give back or to give to the community. I am on the other side of the pond from you. So I am based in Kent, UK with my family. So that's me in a nutshell.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I'm so sorry to hear about the loss of your little one. And I'm grateful to God for healing you from what I'm hearing. Yeah. He's giving you strength and also using that as a blessing to empower others. So you are a powerhouse. You're doing so many great things. And your most recent book, The Living Amazed, I have the podcast show notes. I'd like to share a link on there if you'd like. For anyone who wants to check that out and use the journal to live amazed and live an amazing life. So there you go. I told you guys this is a special guest, right? This is a loaded guest. So thank you so much for coming in all the way from Kent. As I was sharing with you before, I used to live in England as well. And I still have family there who are here actually visiting me in the summer. So it's great. And it's still home for me. So thank you.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's lovely. All right now. So thank you so much for sharing so much with us. And I know when we think of resilience, as an ability to withstand tough times, like we've just shared a little bit about, I believe I can comfortably say women are more resilient than men. I don't want to get into research, but I know we have the gift to absorb shock and still go on like we were not impacted. It's really a huge gift. And thinking about Women History Month is just some rare quality that us women have that I want to celebrate also as we're talking about this topic today.
Yeah.
So I know this varies from culture to culture, but women are really so strong. Even just giving birth, that's a lot already. And often we don't even take credit for this like we should. What are your thoughts on this?
Oh, yeah. So you're right. So firstly, I know it's hard not to. When it comes to women and men, it's hard not to compare, but in some ways we will compare. But again, I know, men and women are wired differently and we're strong in different ways. But I definitely agree with you that women, we have been built to be resilient mentally and emotionally. And because we do have the capacity to withstand challenges and we can recover quickly. And just like you said, the mere fact that a woman can carry a baby for 9 months and then deliver that baby in sometimes perilous situations. And right after delivery, many women are up and about, right? That alone is a testament to how resilient women are. Of course, this will differ from woman to woman, but you know what I mean, right? And absolutely. I think I once heard this joke about how if men had the ability to get pregnant and have a child, we would have fewer people in the world because they're like, nah, I'm not going back.
They're like, forget it.
Exactly. Most women will go back the second time, the third time. I mean, if most women will do that, or some women will do that.
Yeah, like some women would have three C-sections. You think, why they're still going back there? They're crazy.
I know.
They keep going there and getting it out. It's just the way we're wired. But that's awesome. I know you've shared that you have even your own foundation. You have these things going on, and resilience is a skill that it's something that would help people in so many areas of life. Even when we're in a crisis or in a health crisis, trauma, divorce, so many things going on. So what are some tips? I know you work with people, you coach people, you help people out there on this particular topic. So what are some tips that you can share, that can help people to be resilient during difficult times?
Right. So, I mean, there are lots of tips, but because of time, I will share 3 just, that I think people can begin to use right away. The first tip I would have when it comes to resilience or, to dealing with a crisis in difficult times is first of all to acknowledge what has happened.
That's right.
And emotionally honest about how you feel. Acknowledgement goes a long way because I think most times when we don't acknowledge what's going on and we try to deny the experience or we want to run away from the experience, it only persists, right? So acknowledging the crisis or what the loss is, acknowledging that it has happened and how you feel about the event or the experience will go a long way. Of course, how you feel might change from time to time. And as it changes, you acknowledge how you feel.
Right.
This is where emotional intelligence comes in. Name the feeling. Right. If you're feeling frightening, if you're like, oh, I'm feeling really frightening right now about this, I'm feeling anxious, name it. There's nothing wrong with naming how you feel.
Exactly.
If you're feeling sad, frustrated, acknowledge how you feel, sit with it. And by naming your feelings, what you're doing is you're taking the sting out of it. Someone once said, and I can't remember who, that what you resist persists. So if you resist the feeling, it keeps coming back and staring you right in the face. But when you acknowledge and say, okay, this is exactly how I feel, it takes the sting away. And from that, once you're able to acknowledge what has happened and how you feel, find ways to kind of distract your brain, with maybe a physical activity, going for a walk, breathing exercises, listening to music, something you enjoy, which leads me to my next point, which is self-care. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Let go of the self-negative talk. Sometimes we are the hardest on ourselves.
Yes.
Get rid of the negativity. Find things you enjoy and do them. Pace yourself and protect your mind and your environment from negativity. And then the last point is this tool I love to use, the Steve Covey's circle of control tool. I use it a lot. And basically what the tool helps you to do is to help you figure out what is within your control even in the crisis. What can I control? Focus on what you can control and let go of what you can't control. If you're a praying person like myself, commit the rest into God's hands and say, Lord, I hand this over to you. And then focus on what you can control in that time. It might not be a lot, but then there's no point focusing on things you can't control. It will only make you feel more frustrated and anxious. Yeah. And so deal with what you can control and leave the rest, really. So those are my 3 quick top tips for today. Yeah.
Those are great tips, excellent tips. And so we've talked about women who, you mentioned earlier on that women can have kids and then they just start going up and about. And so even when people are going through a crisis, right, there's this expectations that people still have to go to work, they still go to school and whatnot. And I know you shared earlier on that you're also a productivity coach. Yeah. So from that standpoint, then, is it possible, when you're going through a crisis to still be productive?
Very good question. So it is possible to still be productive. However, there is a likelihood that there's going to be a reduction in your productivity. And a lot of research have shown that, because there's a lot of energy that goes into you trying to make sense of your crisis or your loss or whatever it is. And one thing that has been, the research has shown is most times when we're going through a crisis or a loss, your concentration reduces. Your sleep is affected, your output is affected. And so, yes, there is definitely an impact on your productivity. Research has also shown that for people who are resilient, their, their enthusiasm increases by 47%, their energy by 46%, and concentration by 31%. So obviously, if it's the reverse, when you're going through crisis and you've not managed it well, then it will definitely affect your productivity. Yeah.
All right. That's great. Okay. And so then I know this is really an area of interest, but I would come back later on to ask you how people can find you, because even when you shared those 3 tips, I know there's even more. So I'd like to know later on, if there are any programs that you run that people can join. But going back to Women's History Month, in honor of this specific month, and so what does women empowerment mean to you? This is a question I ask all my guests because the name of this podcast is called Empowerment Minute. So we always ask that question, what it means if you're a leadership coach, a consultant, so for you, in your particular opinion, what does women empowerment mean to you?
Women empowerment to me really means giving women the opportunity and supporting them. It's almost like giving them permission, or it could be giving yourself permission as a woman to say, I am going to be who I need to be and do what I need to do. It's having the resources to do what you need to do and be who you need to be. It's also providing support and giving women a voice to embrace their strengths, their gifts, and uniqueness. And lastly, women empowerment to me, it really means supporting women to heal quicker. Because like we rightly said, even though women are able to absorb, things, they're able to absorb shock and all of that. Research has also shown that there are a lot more women in mental, who go through mental care or need mental health care more than men, because it's almost like something has happened to you and you're like, you just suppress it and keep it moving, right?
Right.
So with women empowerment, it's almost empowering women to say, look, that pain or that crisis or that challenge that has happened to you is valid. Don't shove it aside, deal with it, help them get the support that they need so that they can now come back to be who they really were created to be. It's a packed question, but I'll leave it for that.
Yeah. Because we're kind of like, women like to, put things under the rug, and you gotta acknowledge it. So, and so now, for those women who are struggling to accept that they deserve joy, who are going through a crisis, they feel that, they should not be happy, they should not really be themselves. What is one thing that you can share to encourage and empower these women?
So, wow, great question. So, firstly, I see you. I mean, I don't know what exactly you're going through, but I
Mm-hmm.
have been through my own share of pain, and
Mm-hmm.
there was a point where I thought I would never know joy again. So
Mm-hmm.
I see you and I acknowledge your pain, and I want you to do the same as well. Acknowledge it. Don't resist that pain. Acknowledge that this is where you are right now. This is the season you're in,
Mm-hmm.
and then begin to take little steps, to make a change, to say, you know what, I don't, in as much as this has happened to me, I am responsible for what I do with
Right.
this right now. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
take that, even if it's 1% responsibility of saying, what can I do to make a change to my
That's
situation?
right.
Right. Take that little step. If it means getting professional help, please do. If it means getting, a support system around you, please do. Even if it's just one person, speak to
Mm-hmm.
someone, contact me if you need
That's
to,
right.
because really we need you to be back to you, because there's no one else on the earth like you. And
Exactly.
in taking your place, you would find joy. So this too is a season that would pass. But
That's right.
take tiny steps, take the time you need, but take that 1% responsibility to get help. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I want to say that this is really an area of interest. I know,
Mm.
and I can feel that you sharing it from your energy. And I want to thank you for finding
Mhm.
the, courage to lead the way.
Thank
So,
you.
how can others, people want to pursue this topic even
Mm.
more?
Mm.
Where can they find you? Is there? I know we have our show notes. If you don't
Yeah.
mind sharing a link,
Yeah.
just some way people can contact you, and also share the link of your most recent journal that you
Mhm.
have, Living Amazed.
Yeah. So if you search for me on LinkedIn or Instagram, Detola Amure, I think I'm the only one out there with that name. You will find me, or go to my website, detolaamure.com, and you can book a call with me there, or send me a message. Or my email is hello@detolaamure.com. So
Okay.
it's really my name. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And then the book, is it on Amazon?
Yes, it's on
That I
Amazon. It's
can.
called Living Amaze. Yes, yes. It's on Amazon.
Okay, that's
Mhm.
great. So whoever's listening to this call, go get this book and start living amazed. Thank you
Yes.
so much. Yes, I mean, you shared a lot. I know because of time we gotta go,
Mm.
but I'll check back with you some other time to see, how things are going and how you're
Yeah.
continuing to make impact in your own personal and professional life and also in the community. So I'd like
Mm.
to say thank you so much, Detola, and I want to wish you the best in your professional and personal life. Keep up the great work you're doing. You're a powerhouse. Keep making a difference in the life of others. And so
Yeah.
that's it for this week's podcast. To our listeners out there, thank you so much for tuning in to this wonderful, empowering episode. Be safe, be well. I'll see you next week, same time. Thank you. Thank you, Deto.
Thank you. Thank you, Maureen. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Have a wonderful day. Take care.